It's June 6th and I'm in Steilacoom, Washington, and I'm about to start on another road trip. If everything goes according to plan, I'm going to drive all the way to Maine. Now, unlike the last road trip, it's not going to be kind of a series like all the different parts that I had. It's going to be more of like, oh, Yellowstone, or this area of South Dakota, or Maine. So here in a little bit, I'll tell you about the plan for today and a little bit about this area. Okay, I forgot to mention, I don't have an exact route to Maine. However, it's going to go more of a northern route, and I do have a few spots that I definitely want to stop at. Okay, for the rest of the day, I'm going to hang out in Steilacoom and DuPont, Washington. There's a lot of great spots to view the Puget Sound, or sometimes referred to as the Salish Sea. If you don't know, the Puget Sound is a large body of water that's inland from the Pacific Ocean. It's connected by the Strait of Juan de Fuca. It extends probably over 100 miles from Olympia, Washington to somewhere in British Columbia, Canada. Now, there is a ferry terminal here in Steilacoom that connects to Anderson Island and Ketron Island. There's also the McNeil ferry, but that's a private ferry that connects to some sort of detention center. After leaving Pioneer Orchard Park, I kind of toured around the city, so here's a couple of shots of that. Figured I'd show you. This is just the main drag through Steilacoom, Washington. It's a small town. I was able to catch a couple more ferries before departing Steilacoom. Okay, I made it down to Salter Point Park, which is not far from the ferry terminal in Steilacoom. It's probably less than a mile. It is actually physically possible to walk between the 2 points during low tide, and I'll walk down there in a few moments to show you. There is a bay between the 2 points, and it's pretty marshy, and there's a lot of private land, so I wouldn't recommend it. I just had lunch, and I'm gonna hang out here for a couple hours, and then we'll head to our next point. Here's the bay that's in between the Steilacoom ferry terminal and Salters Point Park. It's really not easy to cross. So of course this will be the turnaround spot. I'll start heading back to the car. I did notice this on the way back. You can probably just barely see it. The ferry is about to dock at Ketron Island. Because it's such a small island, it only makes a few stops a day there, whereas Anderson Island, the ferry runs quite frequently. Okay, this will wrap up my time at Salters Point. Everything seems like it's quick, fast, and in a hurry, but in reality I'm spending at least an hour at each of these locations. Okay, the next sightseeing stop is actually a trail down to the Puget Sound, the Steilcoom Trail. Now, I think that's how it's pronounced. We're just going to go with it for the rest of this video. Okay, I made it to the end of the Steilacoom Trail. It's only about 1.5 miles, it's not bad. I'm going to show you around this area and some of the historical sites. So as you can see, there's some old railroad tracks. This is actually narrow gauge, so it's not actually compatible with modern railroads. This is owned by the DuPont company, and they actually had a wharf in this location. It's really unfortunate that a lot of these structures have been taken out. This probably would have been a great fishing pier. And then also up at Salter's Point, there used to be some kind of dock that's fallen into complete disrepair. I moved on to another spot, and I only know about this trail is because I used to live in this area. It does have a name. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but here's the trail. It does connect with the Steilacoom Trail, but of course I love this one because you're way up high, and so you get some great views of the Puget Sound and the islands across the way. So we'll get down to the water. There's a spot that I know how to get down to. So this is one of the awesome views that I'm talking about. You can see a great view of the Puget Sound, a couple islands. You can even see the Olympics in the background. Now what I will say is it's pretty low tide right now, but the water is coming in, so this whole area over here will eventually be covered in water. Okay, I shot a time lapse to demonstrate what the tides do. This is about 45 minutes condensed down into 16 seconds. Because it's so flat, just a few feet change in the tide, the whole area is covered in water. Okay, this is another demonstration of what the tide does out here. These two clips were shot probably an hour and a half apart, so you can see what happened. Okay, I moved a little bit further south of the Steilacoom Trail, still in the DuPont area. And there's no official trail to get down here. A social trail has developed, so there's really no way to show you exactly where I'm at, but you might be able to kind of triangulate the location. I used to love coming down here when I lived in the area. The trees have gotten a lot taller, so the view of the Puget Sound isn't as good. Of course, in the wintertime, the views are the greatest because there's no leaves on the trees. And it's a pretty interesting spot to watch trains if you like that. Okay, I came to one last sightseeing opportunity, still in DuPont, same area that I've been at for the last couple of hours. I was actually here a little bit earlier in the day, but it's been a long day. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to get back to the van so I can rest and relax tonight. So I want to thank you for watching. Hopefully I get a good night's sleep because tomorrow we start driving towards Maine.